Hello and welcome to part 2 of this special program, President Robert Gabriel Mugabe at 93, a program in which we talk to the birthday boy himself, His Excellency the President. Your Excellency, let me take you to a different issue altogether.
Yes.
Infrastructure is key to economic revival, which is what we are discussing here. We even have a cluster in Zimbabwean.
Yes.
We have a poorly maintained road network, and we also have a struggling national railways of Zimbabwe. Yet this infrastructure is important. What plans does government have on the transportation and logistics front? And at the same time, if you could also update the nation on the Bridge Chirudu project.
Yes, the roads are in very bad shape. But I happen to know that the Minister of Transport, on the basis of the offers by quite a number of companies, has settled on a company which he thinks we should accept to do the Bridge, Harare, Bridge, Mashingo, Harare, Chirundu Road. And this is dualization we're talking about. That should be starting soon. Maintenance, well, they've tried to do as much as they could to keep the roads, the main roads, usable. But of course, they couldn't keep pace with the damage that was being done by these haulage trucks. And they have increased in number. Chirundu to Bridge, Chirundu to Harare, so on, and in the opposite direction as well. Yes, sure, they pounded the roads, and in some cases the roads are in bad shape. But I would like to believe that with the program that the Minister of Transport, that's Dr. Gumbo, with that program which he has announced to us, sooner or later, the Bridge, Mashingo, Harare, Chirundu will be accomplished. He thinks within a 2-year period. I think he was answering a number of questions in Parliament recently. Then the other roads also, I think there are programs for them. Plumtree, Harare, Mutare, then Byte Bridge, Bulawayo, those are the main trunk ones. But there are quite a number of small ones in rural areas which they have been working on, Wanandoda and what Wanana Korea, this Robert Mugabe Road, ambako kudarwendel ichienda kwa Shimba yoenda Uchinoi. They've kept those done. But they're usable anyway. And I have my eyes on infrastructure daily, really. It's not just roads, it's railways. But railways I think they're doing something with China. Then the airways, they are quite advanced. Trying to get fresh aircraft and finance, and the Reserve Bank are able to supply funds for the aircraft which they need. So I am of the view that over the next 2-3 years, the face of Zimbabwe infrastructurally will change. However, the volume of rain which has pounded over on and over our roads and caused quite a lot of damage in some cases, have made our situation much more expensive than it would have done, than it would have been if we hadn't had that damage. But one would want to say, well, it's sweet damage, because we needed the rain anyway.
Yes, Your Excellency.
So we can't complain too much. And the Almighty would say, well, if you were crying for rain, and I have given you rain, so why cry now that your roads are damaged? Do you need to cry about that at all? You can take care of the roads. I am not the Almighty, and this is not the voice of the Almighty. But certainly, the Almighty has played his part. And we say, thank God, bless the Lord, for he is good The other part of that question, it was infrastructure.
It was infrastructure, Excellency. I think
Just infrastructure.
Yes, I think you have dealt with that one. Let me take you to the issue of corruption. You are a seasoned campaigner against corruption, but critics say that it's only the small fish that are caught, while the big fish remain in the water. How do you respond to that, Your Excellency?
Yeah. If a small fish were a real fish, one would say, fine, we are catching the small fish. So the small fish have a tendency of growing big. So you catch them before they grow big. But this is a human situation. I think the big fish more of it has been talk. People have not come out and actually said, here is a case. Against a big fish. Here are cases against big fish. We have a case now, we have the anti-corruption thing. They are at cross purposes with Professor Jonathan Moyo. He thinks they're being political, and that the funds, they say, he has used in a corrupt way were funds that were requested, some by the youth, others by women, by the party in general. Well, the case is going on. But there are no cases, other cases you can point to of big fish having done this, big fish. Tinongonzwa kuti ninge ari corrupt, zvingadai zviri izvo. Perhaps the big fish might also be capable of hiding their corruption. I don't know. But or are people afraid to come out and and even come to us and say, who are you? Kana kuri kuba, kuba mari zakati. We investigate that. It's big fish, big fish, big fish. And you are saying big fish too. Who are the big fish you have in mind?
This is what critics say, Your Excellency. They say it's the small fish and the big fish are
Have
swimming
you
away.
ever asked them who the big fish are and what the corruption they accuse them of is? What is that corruption? What does it amount to? Vamwe vanongonenera vanhu kuti vari corrupt, very corrupt, very corrupt. Kana indiringonzwa ruma iyo. I have heard it. I can't say I haven't heard it. I've heard it. Kuti very corrupt. Very corrupt. Zvino kana vanhu vasingabude pachena kutiudza kuti this is what the big fish is doing. Investigate him and you will get to the truth. I'll investigate. I will investigate. But I don't want just political attacks, as it were. This one is a big fish. Uyu ari kupiwa mari. Nemakambani auya ari kudi. Vazhinji vanongodzarwa kuti.
That's okay, Your Excellency.
We must, sure, we must be a clean party. It's very important, and I don't want to run a party in thieves and corrupt persons. And if there is evidence, we'll pursue that evidence, and then certainly we'll deal with the persons.
Talking of dealing with persons in the party, 2018 is just around the corner. Is ZANU-PF ready for elections, Your Excellency? We still have factionalism that you have been fighting against. Are we going to see your big stick dealing within discipline as we go towards the polls?
Is ZANU-PF ready? ZANU-PF is ever ready. No, that battery which is written ever ready, always yielding power. We stand ready all the time. But the issue is, sure, that of ensuring unity within us. The quarrels within the party, suspicions within the party. Yeah, we are remedying those ones. So it won't take us time. is to be in full gear. But we don't have differences that really can mar our participation in the party. We have been at this game for a long time. We are not on a Zim first. You see, it's born in the morning and before sunset. It has become something else. I mean, we are Juriko. Kuti zvakadzvamukwa kutiswa naDidymus Mutasa. Vari kuti hangavaendi vaiti ndirare navo. Ameni kuti chokwadi here. Ameni kuti ikoko wana naMutasa. Or shall there be a duplicity like you have MDC, but MDCT, MDC Welshman. Zimbabwe people first, Yamaimju, Zimbabwe people first. Namtasa na Gumbu. Well. Hakuna opposition. There is no opposition at all.
They say ZANU-PF is infiltrating the parties. We have heard Wanatrangirai saying the same, Wanangwe, Wanabiti, all those that you have mentioned.
Which is in this study.
They say it's ZANU-PF. It infiltrates us and we end up disintegrated. Is ZANU-PF doing that, Your Excellency?
I don't know. Where have we infiltrated them? Have they given us the persons? Infiltration is an act, okay, getting your people clandestinely into their organizations. Infiltrate MDCT. Kuti TD. We haven't done any such thing. It's failures on their part, complete failures on their part, and quarrels, of course, within them. They are not as well organized as ourselves, as our party. No definite principles guiding them. Look at their press, day in, day out. Just attack on us, ZANU-PF, something about Mugabe, something about the First Lady, to sell. So their organs can sell. But what do they talk about? Our industry by way of policies that they envisage. Mining industry, agriculture, the utilities, infrastructure. What are the policies that they have in these areas of the sectors of our economy happen?
So, Your Excellency, you are not losing sleep over their plan to form a grand coalition against ZANU-PF?
A grand coalition? I don't know. My teacher, even when teaching him grade 1, waituka isama maziro maviri aite 2 rinongoramba riri 0. Kana ukawanza kasvika 10, they just amount to a huge pile of zeros. Nothing. So then I teach cool. In Bangladesh, you see, look at them. If they want a coalition, and they believe that a coalition can save them, so why the dilly-dallying about it? But now, with Mamjuru apparently divorced, left in the, in that situation in which she appears to be without anyone else who matters politically. Changirai will say, you are only now an individual, and in Indian party. And yes, he has a party. And my party cannot have a coalition with an individual. You can join I don't know. She might have to do that, perhaps, to save his political skin. But that will be the final blow to a political life. To go to the MDC in total. You can see good politics zacho dzanga dzakamira papi. I suppose there's one reason others left Kutwa makutisa ku politics zana Changirai ati gorarama here ZANU-PF inobva yawanaka mbuva yacho yekukriticize at the election time, but they're not even worth criticizing now.
Let me take you from politics to education. As a former teacher, Your Excellency, what is your view on the new education curriculum, which seems to be stirring up a lot of controversies?
I suppose Comrade Dokora wants some innovation. The ideas he has to improve, the system. I don't know. I would want to know why. Almost all the teachers elsewhere, or most of them, are opposed to what they conceive to be a new system. But to ask for his explanations were quite simple. He wanted, first, don't forget, he's the first one to want vana 4 years kuti vachibva kumakreshi vaended into the formal system. And that meant, of course, working out a curriculum for them. But if it is, as has been reported in the press a bit, kuti takuenda kuna grades 1 upward, the lower part. It science, mathematics in vernacular. I am not sure. Kuti curriculum yaimboti chii. And angaita masyllabus here, mathematics in vernacular, kuti angakwanise already. I'm sure. He's not trying to do a Swahili exercises on part of our system. Out of pride, you see. They were very proud about their language, Swahili. And they were saying, well, why not develop our Swahili and make it as the language in which the learning is done. The French don't have to do, their study. In English. They do it in their own language, French. The Germans the same. So we, the Tanzanians, should do the same. That was the thinking Yana Nyerere. Singa iziwe kuti eka vana France na Germany ndivo originators of the learning. And they have developed their systems over a longer period. At the same time as their languages were also learned by others in Europe. So whatever was the English part of history, France could render it in its own language much more easily. So could Germany, and publish books accordingly. But to cultures these studies are quite foreign to our culture. Not so. Varunguni vamwe vanoshanda languages. They succeeded anyway, Tanzania. But at expense, great expense. Of their English ability. managed, what others have not managed, what we have not done. And I don't think Dokora wanted to start that. Akaramba ekuti Ayatollah. Akati no, why? Akati beard yangu inakangopera naye kudara. I cannot shave it off. When you went to Iran, ondoko wakabva wava Muslim. I said, no, I'm not a Muslim at all. I'm a Catholic. I remain a Catholic. Isindakatanzwa kuti watova Muslim. Saka akutounza chimuslim kuti anoda some Muslim prayer. I said, no, he is not introduced to all that. Yeah, education. I think it's education it should be open. We should be open to an ability to absorb. You know, especially developments that are taking place in the ICT world. And our curricula should not remain backward. If you went to, and I asked my boys, recite 3 times table or 4 times table, 5 times table, 12 times table. Vanongoti to span to a computer. This, whereas if you should tie it up by head, up to 12 times table, sometimes 13 times table. Which is 12 times 12, 144. You know, our Komana and Nasi. It's computer. I don't know which is better, but I think there is damage being done to the intellect. You see, by the gadgets, too much of reliance to gadgets. We want the gadgets to think for us.
Your Excellency, from there let's move on to regional and international issues. And I want to take you straight to one issue where you came out strongly. You expressed your disappointment over the readmission of Morocco to the AU. And you were there during the founding of the Organization of African Union. Have the founding principles of the African Union, have they now been ignored by the AU? Has the AU lost its memory? With regard to this readmission of Morocco, Your Excellency, what really is the issue here?
Well, the issue is that Morocco was once a member. It's a founding member of the OAU, and so knows the principles which there were also the principles adopted in the Constitutive Act on the basis of which the African Union was established. You see? And a member should accept the rules first and pledge to accept the rules. And a member should not be in violation of the principle. The principles that are enunciated, such as, occupation, the boundaries, there should be recognition of the boundaries as set by our colonial masters. Otherwise, a quarrel over boundaries would tear up the entirety of the organization. And so we just accept that these are the boundaries. Isu de Zambezi for us, Limpopo, right? But Morocco is arguing, has been arguing, that Sahrawi is part of Morocco. In other words, arguing that there was no boundary between Morocco and Sahrawi Republic at all, which is contested by the Sahrawi people. And then Morocco also says it's coming, it's readmission and the acceptance of membership is on the basis that Article 42 of its constitution. I have not read it, but it was being referred to by others, which says that Morocco will join the AU, rejoin the AU, but this is on the basis that the issues of boundaries is flexible. that's the article in their own documents, that they will regard the issues in accordance with Article 42, the issues of boundaries as flexible. In other words, boundaries between them and Sahrawi, a boundary between them and Algeria, then they have a boundary between them and Mauritania, that they will regard that the question of boundaries is not fixed yet, but remains unfixed. Which creates quite a problem, and which is a departure from the rule that we should accept boundaries as set by our erstwhile colonial masters. So it was the fact that the majority of the people accepted that Morocco could join subject to those rules and principles, you see, without subjection to those principles and rules, but allowing Morocco to join, and then the rules and the principles and rules can be discussed after joining. So you don't join an organization. Acceptance must precede. It's precedent. It must precede your membership. It's not antecedent. So you see takati no upon organization ingashandi nomntu wewe. The OAU was not created that way. Members had to accept the principles of the OAU, and even the principle of not quarreling about boundaries. But there were only a few of us in SADC who stood our ground. The rest of members of Francophone countries apparently had been organized by Morocco. They thought Morocco should join and be allowed to answer those questions later. That was the difference. Kana uchida kuji msangano umusungu wotanga wabvumazi isima principles acho kwete kuti handizopfuma maprinciples eZANU-PF ndajoina that was the nature of the principle. There was a difference between us and the others.
Okay, Your Excellency, let me take you now from that issue in Africa to America. The entrance of the new US President Donald Trump has brought with it some controversial policies, seemingly driven by maybe racism and the promotion of America First. Are we drifting towards racial polarization in global politics, or is it that President Trump is not understood? And Imimi, Your Excellency, were you surprised by his election?
I was surprised by his election. But I didn't like Madam Clinton to win either. You see, because I knew they stayed ready with the sanctions, to slap sanctions on us as a legacy. And indeed, Obama, just before he left, a week before he left, imposed these sanctions on us. Why did he have to do it a week before he left? To make it difficult for the incoming government, to make to find his way and to make his own decisions. So we are just now under sanctions imposed on us, not by Donald Trump, but by Obama. And just imagine that. And what arrogance is that? Anyway, when it comes to Donald Trump, I don't know, he's on the one hand talking of American nationalism, as it were. America for America. America for Americans. So on that we agree. We say it's Zimbabwe for Zimbabweans, and any country will agree with him on that one, perhaps. But he's radical. I don't know whether the construction of the wall between America and Mexico is feasible, a feasible proposition. It appears quite nasty. I don't know how the Mexicans will take it. Yeah, I thought the Americans once loved Mexico way. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'll give him time. Yeah, give him time. He might come up with better policies, and even free us from the thrall of sanctions which we suffered from for so long.
Okay, Your Excellency. Now let me bring you to the 21st February movement. The 21st February movement is a celebration of President Mugabe and what he stands for. The youths look up to you, Your Excellency, but at the same time they have a list of needs which they have: employment, housing, and so forth. Now, as we go towards the celebrations of the 21st February movement, what message do you have to the youths?
We have no other method than we have told the youth. They are part of us. We have a wing, the youth wing, and Comrade Chipanga leads them. And they have, yes, their requests. They also need houses, they need jobs. Sure, we will try to give them jobs and to give them homes. It's part of our policies. Industrially, we must develop the economy with the youth. But skilled youth, yes. And the youth must be participants. The youths form the greater percentage of our population. And there is no way they can be omitted, from all processes of development and economic transformation. However, we need youth who are educated and skilled, as I have said, who are educated and provided with skills, will provide these skills in our schools, in our tertiary institutions. It's not just going to university. Not everyone can go to university. But those who not manage to go to university should go to institutions where they can do diplomas, they can train, and have given skills to you. You have skills that are best suited for women, other skills better suited for youths, male ones, and our system provides all those. Yes. And so, after training, well, they can themselves be not just job seekers, but job providers even. Job providers. We do not want to just see our youths, being touts and waiting in places to rob people of their money. No. Because they have no other way of making a living. We want people to be well disciplined. And this is why we also are insistent that party, and the Temple College must intensify its program of training our youths and giving them the correct principles and correct orientation. But as we do that, within the party, under the wing, Chipanga, and I think Chipanga is doing very well in organizing the youth and orienting them, giving the correct direction. They organized, you see, that $1 million man march, which was an admirable success. Something we had never had before.
Yes, Your Excellency, and talking about organizing things well, there's controversy over the venue of this year's celebrations.
Well, the people in the South say there are better facilities there than elsewhere. And if we are talking of numbers, then that's the right place. They convince some of us, but I don't see any harm. We have the names of Churchill and many other imperialists. We still have them. So why should we just worry about it? And it's the name of a school called after Rhodes, is it? No, but we are reconciled about that in the party.
Your Excellency, my last question is on football. Locally, which team do you support? And looking at the performance of the Warriors during the just ended AFCON, what is your view on their performance?
I support all the teams. I don't support any team in particular, definitely. My boys support, I think it's Caps. Yeah, but I don't support any. I support all of them. When I watch, I just watch, and I watch context, say Dynamos versus Caps. Good luck to the winners. Hard luck to the losers. That's all I see. You do well next time to the losers. Yeah, soccer. I thought you would ask me about the performance, rather than which team I support. That the losing surprised me. After we had performed that well, reasonably well against Algeria, but also in that contest, I don't know why we couldn't have managed to stick to our 2-1. The score that was in favor of us, and we allowed Algeria to even the score. towards the end of the march. Yeah, I think that is what brought in the loss of confidence, the loss of spirit, and I think the team became dispirited thereafter. And the next matches where they got zeros. I never watched. I was told about the results after they had. Yeah, well. The matches will be played again in the future. So it's not the end of everything. But when you lose, in the context in which you will have attracted the confidence of the whole of our Southern Africa, and you had become the representative, really, of Southern Africa, and then it must pain us, must pain you. Because you, in a sense, you have let down Southern Africa. Mm-hmm. But that's to be accepted in events, in sporting events, isn't it? You win, you lose, but of course you mustn't be losing all the time. We must develop our soccer well. I don't know what it is we must do. On the one hand, they say we must not interfere with the arrangements in our soccer teams. We must leave them to do their thing. But on the other, they cry for help from the state that help us. So which is which? If we are to help them, we must also expect good results, isn't it? Kwetongoti tibatsirei, tikakubatsirai tinenge tichiti mutibatsirewo nokuwina. But I notice Wagushungo nge vakumusoro vakabva kuno kuningi.
Yeah.
Nachiyangwa vakapromotwa.
Yeah, he's been campaigning to take some of these regional posts.
Yeah. He's up there. He's not just Africa now, is he? He's Southern Africa. Of course.
Your Excellency.
Good show.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the time. We really appreciate it.
Good show.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.